Ross. This is Steve.
And I'm Steve.
We moved to Marlborough 2006, so 9 years ago.
Yep.
For the lifestyle mainly.
Marlborough is a great place to live, actually. We just love it. Marlborough Sounds, we get on the boat quite frequently.
Cafe hopping in the Marlborough Sounds is what we mainly do. And kids, we have kids now since we've come down here, and it's easy living. We've got a fantastic neighbourhood.
I'm working at one of the wineries in Marlborough, so I work for Whitehaven.
Now I'm a full-time mum, so I spend my time driving a lot, running around after the kids and just really caring for the kids. William's 5 at the beginning of the year, so he's now just started school, and Ellie is a Montessori kid, so she's been there since she turned 3. I was a financial consultant. I just bought into a business in Wellington, so I was commuting between Wellington and Auckland, and luckily I was home that day working from home, about to go and pick Steve up for an appointment.
I remember that day clear as anything, actually. And you know, I was waiting outside for Karen to pick me up and never showed up, and so, you know, rang home, rang her mobile, couldn't get hold of her anywhere. I actually started to kind of slowly walk home. By the time I got close to home, I was actually running home. No idea why. And when I went inside, I found her lying in the bathroom. So she's collapsed in the bathroom, unconscious, you know, not responsive. You know, it was dial 111 straight away, and fortunately, you know, being in Auckland, you know, response was really quick, and she was in the hospital pretty smartly. You know, I think I was left in the little private waiting room while they, you know, assessed her, and then I remember them coming in and saying, "Oh, look, she's had a brain, you know, massive brain hemorrhage. You're going to have to, you know, start ringing around the family because, you know, she's probably not going to make it." After the initial 2 weeks, you know, we knew that okay, there was going to be a long rehab, but it was only going to get better over time.
Couldn't walk in a straight line. I was still so dizzy and couldn't shower. You'd faint if you had a shower. I
had to take quite a bit of time off work to be at home with Karen, and you know, each day we would have little milestones. Like, you know, I remember like the first day we managed to walk to the letterbox, and I was like, hey. Yeah.
I tried to go back to work because you know, with my business partner, we'd hired more staff, taken on more clients, and I really felt like I was, you know, letting her down. Because I was worried about my performance, I was working, you know, 14-hour days. The fatigue would kick in, so I couldn't sleep at night, and I was commuting, so I was staying in a hotel and couldn't sleep. Going back to work, really overtired, started making mistakes. If I was interviewing a client, I'd ask the same question 3 times. I almost just had a complete mental breakdown, I think.
I mean, in hindsight, it was complete and utter madness, even trying.
Sovereign was amazing, actually. They sent me to some specialists in Auckland to, you know, to really explain what had happened, what the future would look like for me. He said, look, you can't work. You just can't be an accountant or a financial consultant anymore. You're going to have to sell your business. And I think at that point I did, and you almost go into a little bit of a depression because you lose who you are as an individual, as a professional working woman.
But the reality is you don't get back to normal at all. You get back to a new normal, but that is actually quite different from what normal was. So and most people probably don't recognise that much. If Karen does any kind of intense sort of stuff with her using her brain, for example, or if we're out in busy situations with a lot of noise or whatever,
like a noisy restaurant, that's, you know, a biggie.
You know, Karen will still crash for like days or weeks or afterwards. You know, Karen writes down lists, you know, of everything to kind of remember as well. Because again, you know, when she gets tired, you know, brain function, you know, harder to remember things. And that her alarm on her phone goes off constantly with all these reminders.
I almost cancelled my income protection insurance 2 years before I had the aneurysm burst because it was, you know, we earned a decent income, but it was still quite an expense. And I talked to my broker, and he said, "Well, yep, understand, but let's extend the stand down period." And that actually saved quite a lot on the premiums, which made a big difference.
I know I always grumbled a lot before the accident about, God, how much money were you paying on insurance a month? It was a significant amount. But you know, look, in hindsight,
I don't want that.
We would be in such a different situation now.
Thank you, darling.
You know, if we didn't have the benefit of that insurance. So,
can you look after it for me?
I don't think you really think about it until the situation comes upon you. But you know, in hindsight, you know, man, it's definitely made a difference to where we are now. That's for sure.
I definitely know if I had to work and you know, having Kids. Yeah, we wouldn't be able to afford this lifestyle without it. And I know if I was trying to work, I just know I'd be a complete wreck without
the
it.
extra pressure and stress
With a
would have
mortgage,
just made
yeah.
things so much more difficult as well. You know, although the income protection doesn't fully cover what you would have earned otherwise, or your potential future increases in earnings as you get more experience or whatever, you know, it's still a massive difference compared to not having that income at all.
You're being a bit noisy,
and again, especially with young kids, when you'd be down to one anyway. So we're actually extra lucky because we've had 2 young kids and have still had the benefit of 2 incomes. I honestly can't think of where we would be if we hadn't have got that income protection insurance. I'm assuming, look, maybe we would have had to still remain in Auckland.
Well, right at the start when it first happened, I remember a couple of friends saying to me, yes, we've now got income protection because that's, we see the impact of what's happened. But one interesting thing, and this is a question probably for the advisors, a lot of them only take it on the husband because he's the bigger earner. But if the wife actually lost her income, her ability to look after the children, that's actually a bigger cost because you've lost your income and you've got to hire someone full time to look after kids if they're little. So I think people don't quite see the full picture. I think income protection is an essential insurance, especially when kids are on the scene. Yes, the stand down period for my policy was 3 months. And with all the experts they sent me to, after a while they said, well, you will be on it for life. And well, for me, my policy goes through till retirement. And it's a godsend, it really is.